Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Andrew Lim, and today I'm going to be talking about how to use strong passwords to stay safe online. We all have to use passwords on a daily basis to log into our phones or social media accounts. So it's important we make and maintain strong passwords so those accounts and devices don't get hacked. I'm currently a 7th grader at Nitos Middle School, and some facts about me are that this year I'll participate in my school's Cyber Patriot program. And then I'm also a U.S. Chess Federation rated pro. Oh, wait. The slide isn't moving. That's why. Oh, I know. No. That's strange.
There it is. Okay. It's because you have to put the mouse over.
Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying, this year I participate in my school's Patriot program, where you have to defend from hackers and make the program safe. And I'm also a U.S. Chess Federation rated pro. I don't go to tournaments anymore, but I'm still rated. And I enjoy playing soccer when I'm not doing my homework or in school. So today I'll be talking about what a password even is, and then I'll talk about why we should spend the time to make a strong password. And then once we all understand why we should use a strong password, I'll talk about how to make a strong password and then how to maintain one. So now, what is a password? We all probably know what a password is. It's just a set of characters you have to put in every time you log in. But a password goes deeper than that. A password verifies that you are you, so you can log in. So a password is almost a form of your personal identity. So that's why whenever you give out your password to somebody, it's almost like giving out your personal identity to them. Because now they can get your information and know and pretend to be like you. So now, why should you even spend a few minutes to make a strong password? A strong password will defend your account way more than a weak password. And weak passwords cause many data breaches, computer hijacking, and identity theft. And a weak password will be cracked in a matter of a day. So in a day, all your information can be gone and stolen. So now, you may be wondering how your password can even get hacked. There are a few ways your password can get hacked. The first one is called key locking. The hacker will look at which keys you're pressing and then therefore determine what your password is. The next one is called brute force. To the hacker, your password's encrypted, which means that it's just random characters that's not actually your password. But in brute force, they'll use an algorithm that will decrypt that password into plain text so they can easily get your password. Here are some more ways your password can get hacked. The next one's called worker discovery. Sometimes people write their password on a sticky note or a piece of paper so they don't forget it. But this is very dangerous because then, let's say a friend or family goes over to your workplace or house. Then they see that paper and they'll easily get your password. The next way is called password spraying. The hacker will try commonly used passwords like ABC123 or 123456 in hopes that's your password. Because since those are super common, they have a pretty good chance of logging in. And here are some stats on password-related hacks. 60% of people reuse their passwords for the same account over and over again. You may be wondering why this is even bad. I mean, it is easier to remember, right? This is bad because let's just say you have the same password for your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter account. That means once your Instagram gets hacked, your Facebook and Twitter account will also get hacked because you have the same password. And then 20 to 30% of people write down their passwords. So this means that 20 to 30% of people are vulnerable to worker discovery at any time. Some more stats are that 25% of people tell their passwords to their coworkers. This means that they're almost giving their identity to someone they may not know very well. This is very bad, especially because that's 25% of people. And then 44% of people have never changed their passwords. So for 1, 3, 5, or even 10 years, they've had the same password. And now that you know why you need a strong password, you need to know what a strong password even is. A strong password will defend your account for at least a year. So the hacker should never be able to hack or log into your account easily. And then a strong password should not be able to be guessed. So if I think of a password on the top of my head, and that's your password, that's clearly not a strong password at all. And it should be unique and common. It should be one of a kind, so no one can ever guess it or easily get it. And it should be long and complicated, but not just letters. It should have letters, numbers, and symbols. So if you're having trouble making a strong password, here are some tips. The first one, to use letters, numbers, and symbols, you can substitute letters for numbers and symbols. For example, L for 1, A for the @ symbol, O for 0, and S for the $sign. These are easy substitutions because they look similar, but they're still numbers and symbols that you put into your password. And then some letters should be uppercase and some should be lowercase. This makes it harder than just it being all caps or all lowercase. So it should be lowercase, uppercase, or just random. And then never use any dictionary words. The most common one's always just password. Sure, dictionary words are easy to remember, but they're also easy to guess. And then here's some more tips to create a strong password. The next one is to don't just put numbers or alphabet in numerical alphabetical order. This means never using A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. Just because it's easy to remember doesn't mean it's good. And then your password should have at least 12 characters. That's a minimum right now, but as hackers get better and better with new strategies, it may go up to 14. And then sometimes you can just use a random password generator if you're feeling lazy. When you put in a new password, sometimes Google will say, use this password. And those are always good passwords to put in. But you can also search up a random password generator on a web browser. And then sometimes not even the dictionary words or substitutions will work. This means that sometimes you may need to read a letter or put a random symbol in the middle of the word. So here are some examples of strong passwords. Some of these words are super short, like tree. So how are you ever going to make that 12 characters? You're going to make this 12 characters by putting another word that relates to the original one. So for example, tree turned to tree roots. So you can make it twice as long and way more complicated. And if you're having more trouble putting symbols, you can put parentheses or quotation marks at the start and end. These are easy because they'll link up to each other at the start and end. And then here we can see as we start with the weakest password, which is password, on a password tester. A password tester is where you put your password and it will tell you how long it will take a hacker to crack. And these passwords will get better and better as we apply more of our tips. So this first one starts with the word password, the most obvious, weakest password. It takes 0 seconds for a hacker to crack, which means in 0 seconds, your account is already hacked if you use this password. But then this next password has a number, which is 0, and has the alternating capitals and lowercase. This only makes it very little better, as it's 0.01 seconds still to crack. It's still password. And then this one is a lot better. It has symbols and it's over 12 characters. This makes it 2 hours, and as you can see here, it's a lot better. But you may be wondering, how is this still only 2 hours? You applied all of your tips, or all of my tips. The uppercase and lowercase, at least 12 characters, symbols and numbers. The reason is because this really is still the word password. And hackers know that nowadays. So it's still very weak. So to do this, you're going to have to delete a letter in the word. So now, just by deleting that extra S in pass, you make it 1,000 times better, making it last 492 years. But if your password can last 1 year or over on this password tester, your password should be good enough. And now, sometimes instead of passwords, you can use a passphrase. A passphrase has the same job as a password, which is to protect your account from hackers. But a passphrase is a whole sentence. It doesn't have to be a long, complicated sentence. It can just be 3 to 5 words. But passphrases are longer than passwords. So they'll be more complicated and protect your account way more than a password. But a downside is that passphrases are longer than passwords. So it may be harder to remember. So now, here are some examples of passphrases. The first one is I love to code all day. This just uses substitutions to get more numbers and symbols. And then same for these two. Cyber defense and e-pawn plus 2 squares all use substitutions. But the passphrases would just be one word, no spaces. And then you need to make sure once you've created a strong password, you need to maintain that strong password. Because what's the point in even making a strong password if you're just going to let the hackers get to it? So the best way to maintain them is to use a password manager. A password manager will save all your passwords so you can always go back in and remember them. But it will also keep all your passwords safe from hackers rather than just writing them on a piece of paper or putting them on a file or drive on your computer. And also, to make it so that the hackers don't have a lot of time to guess your password, change your password every 3 months. So every 3 months, if you have a new password and your password lasts at least a year, you'll never get hacked. And then that's it. Thank you all for listening, and any questions? If you put password manager on your phone, you could do it in case you ever forget it. Any others? Excuse me, I didn't catch that. Can you speak louder? How can you think of a phrase to turn to a passphrase? You can just think of something that you always remember. For example, you can say, I like whatever you like, or I love whatever you like. Just anything that's very short. Usually a strong password will always have symbols, but I guess if you make it long enough, maybe over 15 or 16 characters, it could be strong enough. Passwords don't usually use spaces, but if you want to put spaces in there, you can. But good passwords never need spaces. Is that all? I'm starting to put my passwords into a password manager because I'm pretty sure Apple gives you one as a start. So I just got a new phone, so I've been putting my passwords into the password manager. Well, I know this is not good, but I change them every 6 months. But I'm starting to get used to the 3 months thing. I wouldn't say there was a danger in making a password too long, but it may just be hard because you might just type it in wrong a lot. Or, yeah, that's the only problem. Silent Patriots is cyber defense, not cyber attacking. No, no. For your phone? Ooh, that's tough, because you have to put in the numbers, huh? Well, never make it a birthday. I know that's common. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Never good. So just make it, maybe just random numbers will work, but make sure you can remember those numbers. Anyone else?